Welcome back to another video, everybody. We have a lot to cover in this one as we get into what is most likely going to be another very eventful week this upcoming trading week. We obviously have a lot of these Middle East tensions, and the question that still remains is the United States going to get involved in this conflict? And we kind of have a 2-week time frame here for the current administration to decide what they are going to do. Now, in addition, we also have some very interesting developments with some of the FOMC members here and some comments here from some of your favorite analysts. And as always, we're going to be going over some of the most recent pieces of news as well as the charts on some of your most favorite names here, Palantir, HIMS, Sofi, and AMD, to give you guys a good picture of what to expect next. So before we get into all of that information, guys, if you guys do enjoy the information and analysis that I provide for you guys in these videos here, make sure you go down and hit that like button. Costs you nothing to do it, but it helps me out a whole lot in spreading this information out to as many people who actually want to learn. And again, make sure you're subscribed and turn on notifications so you never miss another video like this. And massive shout out to one of my private trading and investing community members here. We're highlighting this individual in particular in this video here just because he is one of our newest members to the group here. Shout out to you, Sammy. Again, this is just a testament to how well the concepts and just overall the strategy and the way that we operate in the market works for any type of person here. Again, for those of you guys that want to come in and get access to all of the educational curriculum videos, the daily private live streams, the pre-market plans, the macro research reports, the single stock research reports, the weekly market research reports, the full watch list of stocks and cryptos that are about to explode before they do, remember, make sure you guys use code JUNE with that link down below to get 50% off your first 2 months to the group. Again, that sale is ending soon. It's the best sale that I'm ever going to offer before we go waitlist only. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first thing that I want to discuss with you guys is these new comments from Fed Waller. Now, if you've been paying attention to everything that we've been talking about on this channel here, really over the last 6 months, this is in lockstep with exactly what we've been saying. Fed Waller has said the Fed has been on pause for 6 months, waiting for an inflation shock that has not arrived. And when we move on and start talking a little bit about some of his further comments, Fed Waller says that they could cut rates as early as the July meeting. Now, what we have to think about is where has a lot of this inflation actually come from over the last couple of years here? Well, a lot of it has been in shelter. Now, do you really think that these tariffs are going to cause a significant increase to shelter costs? Well, not necessarily, but for further insight on this, let's actually listen to what Tom Lee has to say about this current inflation situation.
I think, Tom, you agree with that, don't you?
I do. You know, one of the things that I think helps is if you go to the May CPI report, core inflation was 0.13% month over month. The goods component was in deflation, which is affected by tariffs. And then if you look at core, the two biggest contributors were housing and auto insurance. That was 0.14. So outside of housing and auto insurance, we had deflation in the May CPI report. I don't think tariffs are going to cause housing prices to go up, nor is it going to cause auto insurance. So to me, the Fed is, I think, shifting to looking at expected tariffs, but not realizing the real driver of inflation. 75% of inflation since 2019 was housing and auto insurance. Those are both actually starting to cool.
So what we are starting to see, guys, is everybody is starting to get on the same page here that these new tariffs, especially with a lot of these new trade deals coming into play, are really not going to have this significant effect to consumer prices here that a lot of these economists were expecting previously. Now, when we think about just kind of this overall situation with inflation here, again, I can have my expectation on what I think is going to happen, but we also have to talk about what could happen on the other side too that could end up pushing prices a little bit higher. The first is, remember, a lot of what was happening in the first quarter of 2025 is a lot of these corporations were listening to a lot of these economists and saying, well, if prices are going to go up, we really need to then go out and buy a lot of our inventory now at these lower prices in order to make sure that we're not going to pass a lot of these costs on to the consumer if we don't have to. And that is the main reason why we saw such a aggressive negative GDP print in the first quarter. ordered. Now, if we end up seeing some of these costs end up getting passed on to the consumer once they run out of a lot of this inventory, well, we could see a little bit of an effect on consumer prices there. But again, it should not be this giant effect that a lot of these economists have been talking about. The second thing, again, is this conflict in the Middle East here. Again, U.S. military moving B-2 bombers to Pacific island of Guam from mainland United States, two U.S. officials tell Reuters. Again, with this Middle East conflict, this does have the potential to bring up oil prices, which again can cause a short-term move to the upside in CPI and a lot of the other inflation metrics as well. But again, those should also be very short-lived. Now let's start talking about a couple of these individual names, guys. Some of these that you guys are very interested in, and quite honestly, one of them, my best investment of all time here. The first one that we're going to talk about here is Palantir. So again, looking at this name on the daily time frame here, we are setting up a very, very bullish setup here on this larger time frame. Again, if we can continue consolidating, break a couple of these upside levels here, we easily could get into these 140s. But what I will say right now is that I would expect those types of moves to the upside unless the broad market really starts to ramp back to the upside. Could be very short, quick, aggressive, and we could end up seeing some of these getting sold into here just because, again, this valuation on this name here is getting a little out of hand in the short term. For me personally, and something that I've been saying a lot to the group as it relates to Palantir, is this is not one that you want to be buying in the short term here, but it's definitely not one that you want to short. If you guys were in this one when I gave this to the group in the 15s here, this could be a good time to maybe trim some of your profits off of the table here if you want to maybe sell some covered calls to squeeze a little bit more money out of this position that you guys have. But again, at the end of the day, that's going to be up to you on what you want to do and how to best manage that position for your own financial situation. Now, thinking about institutional ownership for Palantir as well, again, we are seeing this number continue to move to the upside here, showing us that institutions, according to a lot of those 13Fs that are still coming out here, are continuously buying more shares of Palantir to have this name in their portfolio. So again, we saw that time period years ago where institutions didn't really understand this name, and it was a really retail driven position here. Now that is really the complete opposite. We are seeing retail already in this name being able to kind of sit back, relax, and look at their profits here, while institutions continuously push this one higher. Now, the next one that I want to cover here is HIMS. Now, this is one that, again, I really, really like this name here, down at this 30 to 31 level here. This is another one that I was highlighting for the group off of this 200 exponential moving average on the daily. I got a lot of questions about this one at these higher levels here on whether or not it's a smart decision to buy this one now. Again, if I like a stock in the 30 to 31 area, I'm going to like it a lot less when it's doubled in the price there. But again, looking at this name here, when you look at this weekly time frame, this is a very, very bullish looking chart setup as we start to move into the summer period. And we also have some relatively good news on HIMS as well. Again, from this account, HIMS House, hers website traffic up 194% year over year. That is very, very significant growth here. We have seen that happen with HIMS in the past, especially when they release their earnings. And I do believe that this one is going to be a very, very big player in the healthcare space here over the next couple of years. And it is going to have that time period again where it has to grow into its valuation, but that doesn't mean that the price cannot continuously get bid up in the short term. Again, this is another one that if you were buying this down at that 30 area here, that you were able to ride this one up, you're sitting up over 100% on your position there. Again, yet another awesome call that hopefully a lot of you guys in the Less Trades More Profits community were able to take advantage of, and maybe some of you guys that have been listening to these videos over the last couple of months here as well. Now, next one up on the list here is Sofi. This is one that we've been looking at very closely over the last couple of weeks here for this very potentially significant weekly breakout here. Obviously, on this weekly time frame, we were able to close right above the prior week's weekly high here, or right around that level here. If we can see the market hold on, we see some de-escalation efforts for this conflict here in the Middle East, and we do see some more of these trade deals come out in the news cycle here, which can obviously obviously push markets a little bit higher. SoFi is really set up well to have a nice push into the 16 to 17 area over the next couple of months here. Now, going into their earnings, it is going to be absolutely awesome to see what they're able to do with their user growth here. Again, we do expect to see some significant growth. They did have right around 10.8, 10.9 million members at the time of their last earnings. It was expected that they were over 11 when they were actually reporting those earnings there, in that really, really awesome goal of 50 million users over the next couple of years. Again, driven by these new products that they're going to be releasing to their consumers. The crypto elements as well could be really, really awesome for them. There's a lot of good things about this name right here that if they can continue to execute, this could be a really, really big winner over the medium to long term. Now, last one up on our list here is AMD. You guys will hear me refer to this one on the live streams as my baby. This one, again, I own shares of this at $11.39. One of the most successful positions that I've had in my portfolio over the years. I was selling a little bit of this one last year. Also had some covered calls expire on Friday, which was actually nice that I sold last July when we were seeing this very, very significant move to the upside. So this has been a very, very high performing name for me, and I expect that to continue. This is a name that has had a lot of volatility over the years here, but I do not expect it to go away anytime soon here. Now, we also have, you can't really see it in the corner here, analysts upgraded advanced micro devices, with Piper Sandler raising its price target to $140 and Rosenblatt setting a new target of $200, indicating a potential 60% upside. Now, this weekly chart here too, guys, looks absolutely phenomenal here. If you guys are in this one, I know Sammy's in this one, making some very significant gains. Shout out to you again there, buddy. It is awesome to see all of the new members of the group just coming in, being able to understand the information and applying it to the charts and what I'm giving you guys every single day in a very rapid manner, which is awesome. But this is also a very big piece of news for AMD as well. Microsoft partners with AMD on next generation of Xbox. Microsoft announced a strategic multi-year agreement with AMD to co-engineer silicon across a portfolio of devices, including the next generation Xbox consoles. The company said it will deliver deeper visual quality, immersive gameplay, and AI-powered experiences grounded in a platform designed for players, not tied to a single store or device, and fully compatible with your existing Xbox game library. So again, very positive news now continuously coming out with AMD. They have that share buyback. They have that big partnership with Humane as well to continuously develop AI across a lot of different kind of forefronts there. So this one, again, I think is going to be a really powerful name moving forward. And again, one that I have held and am going to continue to hold until, again, this one gets completely out of hand in terms of what I really expect for its valuation metrics there. So again, guys, that is going to wrap up this video here. If you did enjoy the information and analysis that I provided for you guys in this one, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it helps me out a whole lot in spreading this information out to as many people who actually want to learn. And again, if you're not subscribed, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you're notified every time these videos go live. But until next time, guys, I will see you. Peace.